no secret that there is a rift in the Democratic Party, and that there is a pretty good rift going right now between Governor Connolly and Senator Ralph Yarborough. Whether or not the president can heal that rift remains to be seen, but he is very pleased with the people, the turnout, etc., and has made no bones about saying as such. Next big jet approaches.
Hey, President!
And this one should contain the president and Mrs. Kennedy.
Here comes Jack.
Here comes the big jet in. Air Force number 1, ladies and gentlemen, carrying the President of the United States with the seal on the side. You'll see a crisscross in a moment. There goes number 2 right by. Beautiful sight. Beautiful sight. This is number 2. It's a 707 Astrojet. A lot of the Dallas official welcoming party is walking out to meet the plane, headed, of course, by His Honor, the Mayor and Mrs. Earl Cabell, Mr. and Mrs. J. Eric Johnson. Mrs. Johnson will introduce the President at the speech later this afternoon. Several others in the party that we've noticed: Dr. Lloyd S. Berkner from the Graduate Research Center, Judge Barefoot Sanders, Judge Lou Sterrett, unloading out of Air Force 2, Vice Presidential Party. This is the passengers from the vice presidential plane being greeted by the Dallas official welcoming delegation, headed by Mayor Cabell. And very slowly up the side comes Air Force One. Now Air Force number 1 taxiing in. Some brilliant yellow roses, some brilliant red roses have been brought out and will be presented to the First Lady. A fire truck, fire marshals and all following the plane, which is normal precaution for where the President goes. Right into us now. And the crowd below cheering. Now the loading ramp being moved up. Doors of the big bird swing open. Inside the door, the seal of the President of the United States. Mrs. Cabell approaching with some red roses. Military delegation coming off first. There's Mrs. Kennedy, and the crowd yells, "And the President of the United States." And I can see his suntan all the way from here. Shaking hands now with the Dallas people, Governor and Mrs. Conley. Governor Conley on your left. Mr. Eric Johnson in the official welcoming party. Mr. Conley shaking hands with Dr. Berkner. The President now partially obscured behind his wife and that big bouquet of flowers. Working their way slowly, Judge Barefoot Sanders meeting the President, who gave him a pat on the shoulder. Judge Lou Sterrett now just visible. Governor Conley with his arm around the President. Mrs. Kennedy backs up and waits for the President, who stopped to chat with some of the people greeting him here. Crowd waving, as you can see. People standing up all over everything available to get a glimpse of the President and his wife. Cheering and yelling going on down the way as they approach the cars. Beautiful break in the weather. Just a beautiful break in the weather. Clear blue sky and a warm sun. Nixon has gone home for the benefit of that person with his sign. He left at 9:05.
In Houston, when there were times yesterday when Mrs. Kennedy appeared to be a little ill at ease. This morning she was all smiles and
crowd swarming around the President and First Lady. That's the official party, not the general public, who is not allowed out beyond the restraining fence here at Love Field. Now they're heading over to the car. Partially obscured from our sight at the moment. People breaking away now, running over to get behind other fences to catch a better glimpse of the caravan as it will leave here shortly and go to downtown Dallas. The President is up to the fence now, shaking hands with people. The President and his wife are right up on the fence. The press is standing up high, getting a lot of shots of this. He's done as he has done in several places. He's broken away from his planned plan and gone right up to the fence to shake hands with people. This is great for the people and makes the eggshells even thinner for the Secret Service, whose job it is to guard the man. But the audience loves this. Mrs. Kennedy's beautiful pillbox hat was the only thing that gave it away. I saw the hat, and I knew they were there. And, of course, the press going high and shooting right down below as the President and his wife kind of moving along the gate. People yelling at them, people running on the inside now trying to come down to this end of the gate, this end of the fenced-off area, hoping that the President and his wife will move along the fence. There you see the crowd just matted around. Steve, a lot of people out with cameras just holding them up and snapping away and hoping to get a picture out of their very own camera of the president and his wife. President still walking along that inside fence, shaking hands, talking with people who have come out to greet him.
Teenage group, which played such a prominent role in President Kennedy's 1960 campaign. Youngsters of the teen.
And here they come, right down toward us. I can see Mrs. Kennedy, and they're going to come right on down and shake hands with everybody. Mrs. Kennedy gave a lovely smile and a wave at that time. Mrs. Kennedy right up. There's the president shaking hands with the people. He's waving at a lot of people, smiling. Secret Service men all around. Boy, this is something. They break right away and come right up to the fence, and the people who waited all morning in this fence are rewarded with a glimpse, and a lot of them with a close look and a handshake with the President of the United States and his wife. And he's coming right down toward us and toward our fine camera positions here. The press is having a field day. Somebody perched up on somebody's shoulders. Secret Service right along with the president, of course. The president passes right in front of a Dallas police officer, right in front of our cameras now. Somebody patted his shoulder. Mrs. Kennedy coming along behind him, grinning all the while. President saying, "Thank you very much. If I may be permitted to read a presidential lip movement." This is a bonus for the people who have waited out here. Now, Mrs. Kennedy right along behind him. President still moving over towards some phone booths that were set up for the press. The people surging up toward that fence. But there is a fence, and the president waves goodbye, waits for his wife, and back they go to the car. Governor Connally standing in the car beaming. Governor Connally with a big 10-gallon hat on.
Then the presidential couple entered the open Lincoln convertible.
Now the motorcade will very shortly start to move out. Sheriff Bill Decker, Dallas County Sheriff, driving his own car, personally escorting with the chief of police, the presidential car moving out. The president and first lady. Big, beautiful Lincoln, followed by a carload of press. Secret Service men, the car behind. Then comes the Vice President and Mrs. Johnson, Senator Yarborough. Now people over in this area